I realise I'm a couple of minutes early. While I'm earlier, okay. Okay, and now obviously having gone live, I've lost what the time is because that's on a different part of my camera phone, making life so very, very easy for me. Okay, so tonight is the first, hopefully, of many craft parties. Okay, maybe for 1 month, doing different things. I like to do lots and lots of crafty things. And hopefully you have been to the website and you have printed off you've gone to the freebies section, printed off the piece card labelled March 2019 craft party. Okay, and that should give you an A4 card with the words, I've already cut out a couple of letters, sorry, with the words spring and the details of what tonight. You have to excuse the spelling. I was having a very bad day. Okay. To be honest, the week hasn't improved much, so we hope it will go up from here. Okay, so if you're all ready to go, you could start putting these pieces out as well. I just thought if you're left watching me do this, you don't need to necessarily worry about the middle of the P and the R. I have a cunning plan. Okay. Okay, going on here. Anybody in the UK may be aware of the votes in particular, and it's concerned Brexit. Political opinions on this are fairly well mapped out in the magazine, or have been in various issues of the magazine. But they're critically important, depending on how the vote goes tonight or tomorrow, if that's where it with subscribers, because there may be some issues connected to the magazine, unfortunately, which is really helpful. Okay, so I'm hoping in about a quarter of an hour to have an interruption from my daughter, but I'm not entirely sure because I think she switched the television off, which was set on Parliament, watching what happened. Jolly times indeed. Okay, in fact there's a Chinese curse that says may you lead. Okay, in fact there's a Chinese curse that says may you live in, and that is what we are living at the moment. Interesting times, and like I say, it is a Chinese curse. Okay, when I've fiddled with this last twilly bit on the R, I will talk you through what we have ready for this craft project. Okay, so make sure I've got those letters right. Make sure I've got those letters right. You got your card, thick card, but you do need card. Okay, and as mentioned, 3 equal sized pieces of card down the process of one of these. I'll tell you a really good way to get hold of one of these. Actually, if you want chipboard, way to get hold of one of these. Actually, if you want chipboard, you could buy it, but otherwise, if you do pretty much any project, okay, if you're at school and you use lined paper, at the back of your lined paper pad is going to be a sheet of A4 chipboard. If you buy paper packs, at the back of your paper pack is going to be a sheet of A4 chipboard. Okay, so don't throw these away, keep them, because otherwise you have to buy chipboard for your craft projects. Save buying chipboard for your craft projects by just keeping the chipboard and not throwing it in the bin. Okay. Ugh. Unfortunately, that's a hoarder's logic that has an awful lot of stuff stashed in my room, which is why you're at a really good angle tonight. Okay, so what I did, because I have an office that looks like my office does that you're not seeing for very good reason, okay, I am trying really hard to use things that I already have. It's kind of an essential thing. Anyway, so as I was going through my stash and finding actually I've got an extra one there, I found this card. Okay, it's meant for card making. It's really, really thick. Okay, it's really, really quite thick. It's quite substantial. So it will do the job nicely. It might be a little bendier, but once you've got other things glued on it, it's going to become really substantial. So I'm using that. It's also a very lovely springy colour. Okay, now tell you a little something about this, because this has been bought as an A5 sheet of paper. This it's card, sorry. This has been bought as an A5 sheet of paper. Okay, which is the other thing you were next told you needed, was paper to cover your board. Okay, if I line that up corner to corner, you will see that the card sticks out there and the paper sticks out there. So it's not always reliable, okay, and I'm not sure which one's wrong, because right or wrong, because I haven't done it. What I have though, this is my cunning plan around this particular predicament, what I have managed to do is to measure that gap there, okay, which is about 7 millimeters, I think. 7 no, sorry, 12 millimeters. Okay, now there's an overlap here, so if I add on the couple of millimeters there and that, it comes to, if I add on 12 millimeters, I need to take off this edge. Wait, let me get this measurement in my head and I'll tell you what I mean. Say, okay, if I put 12 millimeters there, right, so if I take off the side of here 14 millimeters, okay, I will get an equal border of orange all the way around it. Okay, so I have my 3 sheets of paper. I'm going to take off 14 millimeters. I'm going to do that now while I remember it and come back to the list of things I'm meant to have, because I need, if I've got 14 millimeters in my head now and I need to deal with this issue. Okay, so I have my my guillotine. It's one of these. Okay, I'm just going to work out I'm just going to measure up the 14 millimeters. My blade is not at its best anymore. It needs a new blade. Oh, sad, poor blade. I'm just going to measure up the 14 millimeters, and so 14 millimeters off that side. If I get one of these pieces of card, as you can see, if I pop that in the middle, I've just remembered something else I need off my side. It's going to give a nice equal border. Okay, so I'm going to do that to all my pieces of paper, or my 3 pieces of paper. I'm going to use a particular thing. So 14 millimeters. Okay. Arts and craft often does include a little bit of maths. If you want to know more about that, there's plenty of the previous magazines that you can go back and look at that have a series called Maths in Art in. I'm hoping to get some more, but I'm waiting on the to get back and say whether he's going to do some more for us. It's actually a thing that I nearly did, but another writer I knew would be into it, so I need to quickly look for a piece of equipment. I won't be a minute, I promise. And it's disappeared. It's what happens on my table. I've lost a piece of equipment. I'll be back. I've not gone forever. I might have gone forever. Okay. Why else that? I like that. Where's it gone? It's in the house near the TV because I was using it. Right, okay, I'll have to use an alternative. Okay, I don't like this one as much, but I'll use it. Okay, what I wanted was a corner rounder. Okay, now I've not got a corner rounder, but this makes fancy corners. Okay, I particularly like corner rounders. Typically, my mum actually has a lot of corner rounders. Okay, so wait up a minute. I'm gonna pop that down. Okay, so we've got our sheets of paper and our sheets of card. Carefully not waft. We're going to have some letters. We're going to finish those, cutting those out in a minute. Okay. Okay, because that's one of the first things on the agenda. And we've got coordinate. Now again, these pieces of paper I bought from a particularly well-known craft channel a long time ago. I've had them for a while. I have used some. It's not that they weren't good. I have used some, but I have quite a few. It was such a big package. I have quite a few bits lurking left over. So I've got those, and I'll need those for my letters in a bit. What else does this say we need? We'll finish cutting those out in a moment. We need spring themed paper. So I've picked spring colours. It's not particularly themed, but it's spring colours, which will do the job nicely. Coordinating embellishments. So coordinating embellishments mentions flowers. I've got flowers. Okay, I've got some here, and I've got a couple of extras that I picked up. I had pondered on using my Big Shot, my die cutting machine, to cut some out, and then I found these and I thought, again, I need to use up what I have. Okay, so I've got some spring coloured flowers and I'm going to be using those. Okay, they're very nice. They've got all sorts of little there's some nice colours and there's pretty patterns and things. It works. Okay, what else have I found? I've got some little wooden birds. Now it doesn't mean I'm going to use all these things. I'm getting in that because I might use them. Okay, I also found, where's the other one? While I was mooching around, I've had these for a while as well. They're fun. There's a little frog and a little snail. Oh, with some hairs on them, but that can be cleared off. The felt. They're slightly sticky on the back and they're cute and they're vaguely spring-like. So I got them out because you never know what you might use. This butterfly as well. He's a little damaged, but I like these butterflies. Really nice. I think they originally came with them wires, but I've obviously cut the wire off that one and he's still lurking about my office. I have a couple of wooden butterflies. I have these. I don't even know where I've got these Eastery things. So I had one of these lurking, which is a little flower with a ladybird on. Okay, so that's my goodies. Plus, anybody who looked at my craft haul will know that I have a lovely, lovely bag of buttons. Okay, so what else was on the list? It said, ribbon. Told you. This isn't my main ribbon box. These are odds and ends and I need to get rid of them. Ribbon pile. Okay, so I'm going to make some inroads into using some of these. Okay, and some should coordinate really well because some of these, and I can't remember which ones, came in the package that I got from that craft channel with these papers. So theoretically, some of them should match really, really nicely. Okay. Oh. And I've mentioned string. You can use ribbon if you've got loads of ribbon and you haven't got any string. I have this lovely string. It's, you can see it. It's a craft string. It's yellow and white striped, and it's really quite pretty. Okay, I'm sure my sister really love that. Okay. Really hope she's watching now because that'll make her smile. Or grimace. What else do we need? Tacky glue. Scissors. Oh, we've already used those. Said hole punch. I have one of these. You don't use one of these, okay? But I always pick this up. If I need to hot punch a hole at the end of the day, I know that this is going to do the job. It will go through pretty much anything with some effort. Okay, but you can use just a standard hole punch that you'd use for putting paper in a file. Okay. And if you don't have particular crafting paper, you've got wrapping paper that's right. That's perfectly fine. Okay, and we'll get to how to use it best before. Like I say, I've had to trim mine down because of the way I'm using it. Oh, you need links for distressing. That was the other one. Thank you. I have a bucket of these that I sometimes take to if I go teaching anywhere. And in here, because I've used it, I have some little inks and some sponges. So what I need to do is find an appropriate coloured little ink and put them all in here so that when I go and I have 20 ladies who all want a different colour, I can do it. Now, these aren't labelled as distress inks. It doesn't mean that you can't distress with them, okay? Distress with any colour you like. Okay, so I'm looking for something orangey or yellowy. That's a light blue. That's a possibility. But I think I'll... Aha! That's nice. Orange there. That might be it. What else have I got? Or yellow. Oh, yellow. We might do that. Ooh, yellow or orange. Yellow or orange. Oh, is that green? Oh, it's got to be. Is that meant to be green or is that white? Makes me a bit worried actually. I gave them out for there's green. So I can either have a pale blue, an orange, a green, or a yellow. So what I might do is just leave them there to the side, and I can be pondering that particular conundrum while I make things. I'm going to get a sponge out, okay? You can buy special craft sponges. You can pay a lot of money for special craft sponges. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. This is a makeup sponge. And it works as a sponge. And it distresses, okay? Now, sometimes, for certain types of distressing, you need a board. What's it on? The way I'm going to do it tonight, you don't need that. It is a nice way of doing it, but it's not necessary, okay? So, also, for anybody who tuned into my craft haul the other day, you will be glad to know that I'm not freezing. It does mean that I'm not. First of all, we've got everything. I mentioned a pencil. I haven't got a pencil here. Actually, I do have a pencil here. It's not a very good pencil, but I do have a pencil. I kicked it down before. I'll keep that in case. I'll pop that on my desk over there. Put out these left, okay? That is our job. But as I said, do not worry about the holes in the P and the R. It's not a... And yes, I'm dumping all my rubbish on yet another desk, but given the staff room, it really isn't a problem. Okay. Okay. It will get a bit more exciting in a minute. Okay. So it'd be really nice to know if there's anybody there, if you're able to chat. If anybody's, are you crafting with a few friends? This is meant to be a craft party, so you could have friends round, you could have a glass of wine, and a giggle. Okay, you don't all have to be on your own in a craft cabin like me. But if you are on your own in a craft cabin, hello. I know it's nice sometimes to have other people to craft with. I tend to do a lot sat here in my own. And that's nice as well. It's nice having the peace and quiet, but it is also nice to have people to craft with. They stop you reverting to checking work emails and things that are really, really important, but stop enjoying crafting. So it's nice going to groups. I actually go to, well, I don't have any groups I go to around here. When I go and visit my mum, she does an awful lot of craft groups, and I quite regularly join her, and it's good fun. She's actually not watching me tonight because she's at a craft group. She's at a cross stitch group. Hopefully she'll catch up with what I've been doing later on. But she's at a cross stitch group tonight. She also goes to a lace making group and a general craft group. In fact, the lace making group, well, she does two. She has one that she actually runs, which is for the U3A, which is a great way to find craft groups and the like. And she also, so she runs a lace making group for the U3A. She also goes to the cross stitch group, and she goes to another lace guild lace making group, a big lace making group. Once, and I've been to that one. They are very good at providing tea and cake. very, very good at tea and cake. In fact, if you don't eat enough cake, you get in trouble. And that is one thing that is missing from this party. I need to get cake for them. Okay. If you are interested in the parties, and perhaps you know of a younger person who might be interested in the parties, I am going to regulate. There's going to be an adults craft party one night a month, and the details of that will always be on the TV schedule at the beginning of the month. And there will be I'm going to try a kids craft party. Now the next one is on the Saturday the 23rd of March. I think it's at 1 p.m. I'll have to double check that. And it's using paper plates, so really expensive stuff. Paper plates and other goodies lying around the house, basically. It's for under fives, although if you've got a 5 and a 6-year-old, I'm sure the 6-year-old will quite happily join in. Okay. I'm hoping to talk a couple of little people I know into joining me for that. So if you do that, and if you've got a kid and you've got a couple of friends around, that's a fun way to spend the afternoon. Like I say, it's 1 o'clock, and particularly if it's raining. I mean, obviously, if you've got to go to the park, if it's sunny and you've got to go to the park, then you have to go to the park. You can always catch up with the video later. But if you're joining in, if you let me know kid's name, I'll give them a wave and a hello. I only use first names because it's important to keep kids safe. Very aware of this. Any kids' details I put, any kids' pictures only ever have a first name and doesn't say any more than what country they come from. And I don't put pictures of the kids up on any of my in the magazine or on the site. Okay. If ever you do send anything, and I don't give those extra, it's just to keep them safe. I won't put any more detail than a first name and picture their hands. Yeah. So I've nearly got this cut out. I'm going to be playing this game again kind of in a few minutes, but you'll see why in a minute. All right, so nearly there. I hope you are too. I nearly part of me wanted to do this in prep early, and then I thought, no, you're doing this with me. You're busy with your scissors now. Ooh. Okay. And for next time I do this, I really have to tidy my desk that's over there so that I can sit down and do this rather than standing up at basically what's a shelf. Okay, it's a low shelf. I do have a good sized craft room. I also have a substantial amount of craft stuff that I'm trying to not get rid of. I'm trying to work through so I have less of. Get away. I like to have a lot of choice. And like many of you, many crafters, it doesn't matter how many of these things, or when you come to do a craft project, you never quite have what you ideally want. That's the way it goes, isn't it? But I rarely buy for specific projects. I tend to buy when I find things reduced or on special offer and keep them in stock because that is much better for the budget. Okay. Okay. So right, okay, so that's the last of them. Right. So I'm actually going to tilt the camera now so you can see what's going on. You don't have to look at my lovely face for much longer. Okay. You can still hear me, I presume. Bye, scissors. Right. I'm going to try not to drop it, which is what happened when I did my live stream the other day. It was a very strange live stream. Okay, careful. Okay. So hopefully now you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so here on my desk, I have letters, okay? And there's a white side and a grey side. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take some of the paper, the extra sheets of paper. They're the ones that are cut over there, especially to fit our sheets of card. We're not going to use those. In fact, I'm going to pop them out of the way for a minute. Okay? I'm going to take these others. And I want paper that coordinates with what I've got over there. So I'm going to choose two colours. I like the yellow and I like the pink. What I've got is stand out quite nicely. I'm not going to use the border, though we might use the border for something else in a bit. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to carefully chop this border off with my guillotine. And then if I want to use it as an embellishment later, I can do. Okay. Keep my options open. So I'm just going to carefully, neatly cut that off. Okay, so I can get my embellishments on. Okay, so I shouldn't need these extra pieces of paper, but I'm not going to dump them. We're going to keep them nearby just in case. All right, so if you were to put spring out on your desk, okay, you're going to pick every other one. There's six letters in spring, and we're going to pick every other one. So we're going to see S, R, N in one pile, P, I, and G in another pile. Okay, we're going to turn our piece of paper up so that we have the white side up. And so in front of us, we've got the word sun. I'm going to stick it onto the pink stuff. No, I'm not going to actually. I'm going to paste CERN onto the yellow paper and pig onto the pink paper. Don't make a mistake, particularly if you've got a glass of wine in hand. Mistakes happen. You're going to put glue on the grey. So I've got my new thing of glue. I discussed glue in my haul video the other day. This is Hobby Craft tacky glue. Don't strictly need it for this particular purpose, but I will need it later on. Basically, if I'm doing anything that carries, I use a tacky glue. I use this tacky glue. Okay, so there we go. So I've got one down like that. I'll show it you. You might not be exactly able to see it. Is it okay? So you should see the white side. Okay. So again, glue on the grey. Don't worry about the R's hole. We're going to deal with that later. We're going to be creative and deal with the fact that that'll be really tricky to cut out later. Okay, and the N. Okay, so okay, now don't forget, if you're enjoying this craft party, you want to join in next month with whatever we're doing. Quite possibly won't be paper crafting, but I'm going to try and do as many of them as possible using relatively easy to get hold of items. Okay. So and I want pig upside down. Here somewhere is a button for you to tick for subscribe. Okay, which makes YouTube know that I'm doing something fun and interesting. And also next to it, I've been informed by my internet guru. Don't ask. That there's a button that looks like a bell. If you click that, your phone, your tablet, your computer, whatever you're watching this on, will let you know when there's another something coming on, and it will notify you. It will go, "Pig, something exciting is happening," and that way you can keep in touch with what we're doing. Okay, now on to the G. Okay. So also don't forget, on a Monday I regularly what's new, I did do all week, mainly because I want to use the buttons in today's thing. Oh, my button! Did I show you my buttons? I got some beautiful buttons. I don't know whether I showed you. Love buttons. I got them really cheap at Home Bargain. They are very, very lovely. Right, so, and there's a back to front peg. Okay, so I'm going to pop these out of the way with a weight on. Okay, so they can fully stick down while we do the next part of the thing. So we're giving them a bit of drying time. We need those to dry really nicely. So I'm going to pop them on another table. I've not disappeared, promise. And I'm just putting something with a bit of weight on them. Sheets of card. Here. Okay. So I've got my... I actually accidentally got 4 sheets, but it's always good to have a spare. So, there's my sheets of card and my sheet of paper. Now, the corner around, but I've left that inside. Okay. Am I going to do fancy corners? Do I not have anything else? Just wait a minute. I'm fiddling. I'm mooching. Do I not have something better? I don't. Oh, there's that one. Right, okay. I've got one that's slightly better. This is, it's kind of a rounder. It's not quite in that way. Look. I have no idea what's going on. And now it's got stuck. There you are. But I had no idea what was going on. You're cutting. So if you pop in a piece of card, you can line it up. I don't know whether you can see that actually. You can line it up better. And so you're actually better holding it upside down. Okay. Unless you have one where it goes in really flush. I use that technique if I'm doing a hole as well, but I just want a half circle so you can see what's happening. Okay. I wonder whether I could show you that. Where's my circle-ish punch? Circle-ish punch, circle-ish punch. Why can I never find what I'm looking for? Just because my craft is a mess. Right, okay. Circle-ish punch. Here you go. So, this is deviating from our craft project, but I'll show you as a technique. Okay, so that's fully covered. That's part covered. So if I just want, on a book page, for instance, like the journal that I used the other day, so you've just got a little sort of munch taken out. You can line up like that. You can see it, and then when you do that, you've just got a half thing. But doing it this way means you can see exactly where you're popping it. Right, so let's see if I can line this up well. I don't like this one as much as my other one, but like I say, I've left that inside because I was using it the other day. So I'm going to line that up like that, and this just nips the corner. It's not a proper round, but it just nips it off. And I like the effect of at least a slightly rounded corner. It's nice. I think it gives a nice finish to projects. Okay, I don't always do it, but more often than not these days, around the corners. Now, if you haven't got a corner rounder and you can't afford to buy a corner rounder, what you need to do is find a friend with a corner rounder and take a strong piece of card round to your friend with a corner rounder. Stick your piece of card in their corner rounder and keep it straight so you can draw around and cut it out. To make corner move things to me, but not every. It is nicer to actually have a corner rounder. Not everybody though can afford a corner rounder. That's the last one. All right, so they're not great. It's not my favourite corner rounder, but it does just about do the job. That one. Okay. It's more of a corner nipper than a corner rounder. So what we're going to do now is choose our edge. What did I say I had? I've got green. I don't think green because they've got a lot, unless it's, wait, where's that table? Let's see how dark the green is. Oh, no. No, I don't. Okay, green's a possibility. Let's have a look at this. I'm not sure the yellow's going to work because no to the yellow. Orange, no. This is personal taste, to be honest. Okay, I can't say specifically this is the way you've just seen me do. Okay, it takes a little longer to dry, but that's fine. And we'll catch the edge. In fact, I told you to find a sponge earlier. Do you remember the sponge? Don't need the sponge. Okay, we're just catching the edge with the don't need that. Right, I'll move those out of the way, that might be easier. We're catching the edge with the ink. If you've got a very big ink that's hard to hold, you could use your sponge. That's fine. Okay. Ooh, I think this is past its best. I might have to start using that sponge because this is, yeah, I think it's quite an old ink. It doesn't matter, it does the job nicely. Look at it, I've got green all over my side now. It is doing the job nicely, so I'm going to pop that there. I'm going to get my sponge. I'm going to continue doing it this way. Okay, so you do it exactly the same way, but using the, don't go down the back. Using your sponge instead. Okay. Good job. I did get a sponge after all then, didn't it? I do need the sponge. Okay. The other thing is that sometimes after a long time your inks dry out. I'm not going to tell you how to ink. Just, you know, basically if you want a really quality ink, you're going to have to buy a new ink. But it doesn't mean the total dead loss. They may be okay for some types of distressing, as long as you don't mind having a muted tone. Okay, I have a couple like that. I think I bought them fairly old. Yeah, so they were bought from a shop and they've been there too long, so they were reduced. And I occasionally, and that was years ago, and I still occasionally get them out in distress with them. And yes, they are losing the colour. It is significantly muted tone. But it's nice to have a range of possibilities in your craft room, so don't just dump it. You're going to get the hint here. I hoard. I realise it's a really bad habit. Okay, it doesn't lead to a tidy house. And one of my challenges this year, it's not actually a resolution, but one of my challenges this year is to try and use some of these goodies, because I hoard things that I use and I get bought things that people know I will like to use, and I have a really bad habit of not using. And then, oh dear. Right, anyway, that's a clean-up project for the day, because I tend to do photographs from here as well. It doesn't matter in this case if it goes on there, okay, because that's going to get hidden in a minute. I would be panicking if it was a problem. It's not. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to glue these onto the nice cardstock, okay? I'm doing it like this. I'm using the ones that were done first. Okay, so you've got your first piece of cardstock. At this point as well, not necessarily overcritical about this on this surface, because the idea when this is finished is it's going to be hung against a wall, so your wall will stop you seeing any muck on the back. Okay, so first piece, turn it over. Now, I'm applying the glue in swirls, okay? And there's a reason for this, honest. The idea is it doesn't produce such a thick coating that your paper starts to fall apart and wrinkle, but it does, and then I do a big swirl. It does produce a fairly even coverage. If I'm a bit far away from an edge, I can just put a slat line in like that. These have really quite nice narrow nozzles as well. Okay, now I'm eyeballing this, okay? If you're the kind of person that likes to get a ruler out of this, that's fine. I am quite happy using my judgment. I have trained my judgment, so I'm quite happy to use it. Okay, next. Glue on the back, again in swirls. Just forgotten something that I said we needed, and it is on the list actually. You need some stick-ups or sticky pads. So I'm going to lean over once I've done this, if I can remember, because I'm really good at remembering things, and get some. We'll need some soon. Okay. Did I put sticky glue, hole punch? I have said sticky foam pads. I have mentioned sticky foam pads on your list. That's good. And if you've got them out, you do better than me, because I managed to forget them. Okay. Now, I'm just going to lean over and get those sticky foam pads, or something of a similar nature. She says, having lost them. With all the things I've lost, you should have nearly caught up with me by now. Marvellous. I can't find the sticky foam pads. I've lost sticky foam. I don't actually use them much anymore. So I've just got a tiny bit of the reel left, because I really don't use them very often anymore. Oh, there it is. Got it. Okay, so I don't have the individual pads. I have this stuff, and I have this stuff left actually because it's not my favourite. I think it makes everything tacky. Okay. I'm tearing this, which makes my fingers tacky, but it's better than gluing up my scissors. All right, so that's to one side. You don't need them yet. And what we're going to do is work out how we're going to have these placed. So they're going to be strung together. So what we need to work out is the order they're going to go in. I think they're going to go like that. Okay. And now you're going to need your pencil, even if it's really horrible like this one, and your ruler. Okay, so you're going to take your pencil and your ruler, and the top of your card, first piece of card, you're going to measure it. Now mine is 21.5 centimetres, and for this first one at the top, I want a hole exactly in the middle. So that's 10 and 3/4. That's good, some good maths. That 10 3/4. Obviously on mine that's rubbed off because that's far too simple. So I'm going to put a dot on my first piece of card. Okay. I've got a nice little dot in the middle. Okay. And then I need to work out on these others. I want 2 lots of string going down. So if it's 21.5, I need to know what that is split into 3. Now 21 divided by 3 is 7. A half is a little more awkward, so let's double check this bit. Do you know what? I'm just going to count 7 in from each side. I'm not going to do 7 and 14 because that won't work. That'll be wonky because there is that extra half. So I'm going to measure 7 from this side and then move my ruler and do 7 from this side. So we're going to go just along there. I'm going to measure in near the bottom. I'm going to measure 7, which helpfully for us is right in the middle of a dark green flower and makes it really difficult to see. And I'm actually going to turn this so I can make sure it's still on the same level as the last dot. So this should be in the same level. Okay. So the last dot's on the ruler. It's past 14, but I'm ignoring that. And I'm measuring from this side. No. There you are. From this side, along 7. and put a dot there. Okay, so that's the first one. Now on the last two, I just want that measuring. I don't want the single one, I want 2 lots of doubles. This is going to be the middle one. So I'm going to pop this here and measure in 7. Turn it round, make sure I've got that measurement sort of along the line of the ruler. Right, okay, I'm sorry about that. I have mentioned before in some places that my Wi-Fi is horrendous. Okay, so what you've missed is me marking out. I haven't done any more. What I have done by accident is I've also put marks on the bottom ones. Now, there's 2 options here. Either I can stick something over that to hide it in a minute, or I could punch there and then have something else hanging, set of beads or something. For the moment, I'm going to go for just no, let me just move this over. Right there. Okay, I'm going to go for sticking something over it. Okay, so I'm going to carefully use my hole punch. I'm going over. So if you're doing this, if you're not doing this live, you're caught up with it later, you choose to leave this overnight to dry a bit, or do it, go off with that one that's there. This is the one on the green flower that's difficult to see. Yep, and then I've got one in the middle here. So we'll review our holes and where we've got holes. Okay, so our top one, the one that's going to be the top of our decoration, has got 1 hole at the top, 2 holes there. Your middle part of the decoration has 2 holes and 2 holes, and your bottom one has 2 holes, and if you might mean, nearly a mistake. Okay, so they're sat there now. What I need to do now, while that dries a little bit, we're going to pop those to one side and we're going to go and get our letters again that have hopefully dried. Okay, which ones did I do first? I did CERN first, didn't I? Okay, right. And we're going to cut these out together, okay? Now, you're watching it before you get on with the project, what you might find is that you have sneakily stashed away in your craft room somewhere some really lovely chunky chipboard letters in nice colours. They would work fabulously. I don't actually have any of this size. I have letters this size, but they're not chipboard ones. My chipboard ones are smaller that I have stashed, which is kind of a shame, but there you go. And next time I do a party like this, I'm definitely working on having it, being able to sit down to do it and possibly have a glass of wine and or a piece of cake, because I do think a party needs cake. Okay, parties need cake, even if they are craft parties, definitely need cake. Okay, I'm sorry this isn't hugely exciting, and may I add that I haven't had the interruption I was hoping to have. I'm fairly sure as well that my teenage daughter is not tuned into this. She'll be tuned into something else on YouTube. It will not be me. Thanks. And so she won't even know that I'm complaining about her not coming and bothering me with the Brexit vote. So I say I will be sending an email, I suspect, out at the end of this week when I have a better idea of what's going on, which, given that we're only how many days away, I don't know, it's like half a month away, it's 2 weeks to the end of the month, and in this country we still don't know what variety of lunacy No, it's up to you. If you want, you can distress the edges of this. I'm not doing. Don't know why. On another day I might choose. I might have chosen to. Today I'm not choosing to. It's a matter of choice. Okay. Okay, how much should we up to now? Do you know it's nearly an hour? I have been on for nearly an hour now making this. Okay. It's not the most complex of things. So, what have you been doing today? Have you managed to do any craft earlier in the day? I have been working on cross stitch. I've come up with a really nice cross stitch pattern for the April magazine, and I've actually don't normally get a chance to actually make it up. I just end up giving you the pattern, but I've managed to make it up this month, or nearly out. I've got sort of half an hour's worth of sewing left. My fingers objected. It's about lunchtime today. It's not too difficult. It's not very difficult. There is a little bit of counting in it, but it's not too complicated. Because once you've counted bits in a row, that's a bit right. Okay, so let me just show you something here. Can you see this? My R has got grubby on it, and that's partly from the partly from my tables and partly from the glue. Okay, so some of it's going to rub off, and anything else you can hide. Anybody who's been to any of my craft classes will tell you that I point out embellishment to hide your mistakes. Okay, so big enough. I used to keep all sorts of bits of paper. I'm getting stroppy now. Like I say, I need to use things up. So these little bits are going in the bin. Because my bits stash is just enormous in a way. Okay. I did think at one point I'd got rid of a load of my bits stash because my daughter said, "Have you got some bits that I could do a collage with?" Aha. And she wanted bits of nice paper. I'm like, yep. So I brought out a load of my stash. And she said, great. And I put it down on the side and said, there you go. And it sat there for a couple of months and nothing happened to it. And other people said rude things about it being stashed in the way and a mess. So I picked it up and brought it back in my craft room. I thought it had gone to a good home there for a minute, and it hadn't. So I think I've nearly cut out CERN now. Yep. So we've got CERN cut out. Okay, let's CERN. Oh, there you go. CERN. Bob those to one side, and I've got to cut out pig. What the scientists will think of this, I have no idea. Okay. I'm sorry my new heater is so noisy, but it wasn't very expensive, which was a key element in how I chose it. But quite nicely, it also works as a cooling fan in summer. So and considering it was the cheapest one the shop had, I thought that was quite a bargain, really. Just over the £10 mark. Definitely came under the heading of a bargain. So P, I'm gonna start sticking this back in place now. Sticking string. SP. I'm not sure you can see that, can you? You see it? SP R. Next. Okay. I know this little bit is taking a while, but from here on in, it should happen relatively quickly, and it should be a lot more fun because we'll be using all these lovely embellishments in a minute once we've got this bit done. Okay. SPRI. Woo! Don't lose the N. G. Something else that'd be really nice, making one of these with me tonight, or you make one later. If you could send me the photo to Querky Arts, that's QERKY art @gmail.com. I can pop it in the magazine with your name, and you get a free copy of the magazine so that you can see your work on our gallery. Okay, so we'd love to see what you're doing. That's what the magazine is meant to be. It's meant to be about everyday crafters and artists, what you do from kids' art at school and at home at weekends to an art exhibition. It's all interesting. And we want to hear about it and write about you. So get in touch. Let us know what you're doing. If there's a community project, if you're involved in the community arts, love to hear about that. I love writing about community art projects. Please get in touch. If you create stamps or something, and you'd like to give them a bit of a header, if you're a small company, I don't do any advertising for larger companies, but if you're a small company and you've designed something like a stamp or something and like it reviewed, or you'd like to run a little competition through the magazine, give one or two away to a competition by way of an advertisement, we can organise that at no cost to you, obviously, because you're running a competition. You're providing the giveaway, but it'd be a really good way to show off your product. Please get in touch. Mainstream magazines do it for large companies. I want to provide the same opportunities for smaller companies. Okay. Size of your bank balance has nothing to do with your ability to create. Okay. All right. Oh, I've lost my G. Right. So we have spring here now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that P and that R, first of all. Now, do you remember I said not to worry about the hole? That's because I'm just trying to get some of this glue off the R. We're going to do something now. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to get two very small flowers. Okay, so I've got one there, and you might not be able to see it. I need to get another very, very small flower. I want a small flower. I want a teeny tiny flower. Give me a teeny tiny flower. I forgot. That's quite big. It might have to be that one. A bit big. Oh, that's not smaller flower. Okay, so I'm going to look for something else. This is not a disaster. That might work actually. Okay. So I'm not going to use two small flowers. So what we're going to do is, just let me double check there's not two there because that would be really useful. No, there isn't. So I'm going to stick, I've got a little white flower that there. I'm going to stick that in the middle of the R. There's going to be something else there as well. And I'm going to stick the butterfly at an angle in the middle of the P. Okay? So this is why you need the tacky glue. Okay? This heavyweight tacky glue is brilliant for anything that basically has weight. And I won't use anything else anymore. I've already mentioned this on my when I did the haul, but I do make a lot of interactive books, and I've been stood at craft fairs before trying to show off my book, and it's started falling apart in front of my eyes, and customers think you're just being really cheap and shoddy, and it's not. I've used a high-end glue, and it just hasn't done the job. So I've got a little tiny orange button here out of my beautiful new button set. So I'm going to put another dab of glue in the middle of my flower. I'm going to put my button on. And they're going to take a minute or two to dry. Okay. In fact, the whole lot we're going to leave to properly dry overnight. Okay. You can leave it set out on your craft surface for overnight. And I'm going to need to put all these flowers back in its box. Because I'll probably want some out again later, but put them out of the way for a minute. Just because I need the space. Okie dokie. Right. I can pop me. I tell you what, I'm going to pop me inks out of the way. I won't be getting out my inks. My scissors I might need. Going to need embellishments soon. Okay. SP. So you're going to put these in pairs now. So I've got SP, R, I, N, and G. I've got those next to each other down here. There you go. Just got them put there. Okay. I'm trying to be really careful because last time whenever I touch this camera, I drop people on the heads. So if we get our top card now, slightly, like I said, the whole lot's going to need to dry overnight. Okay. So we are going to mount these with an S and a P in that corner. Okay, and I am wondering whether bigger letters would be really, really, really nice. So I'm going to bring them in a bit. Should have done bigger letters. Never mind. This is where we are now. Should definitely have done bigger letters. That would work better. I'm pondering. Can I change this round? No. We'll keep doing like this. That's fine. So what I'm going to do, they're going to go on. Do you know what I'm going to do? Because I need to fill that space, and obviously I've made a bit of a bodge. So I'm going to use some of these leaves that I've got. See these leaves? And they're going to go there with that there. Please tell me I've got enough leaves. Let's count up our leaves. I've got one for there. I've got two for there. Fabulous. And come on, come on, come on. Give me two more leaves. Two more leaves. Two more leaves. I haven't got two more leaves. That is terrible. I'm hoping I've got a double up here somewhere. And I haven't. That's terrible. I'll have to think of something. Oh well. All is not lost. I'll come up with something. Because I do. Right. So, first off, that one's quite small anyway. So I've only got... Right. Okay. So that does take up some space. Right. So, tell you what, I'll stick this down and then you can see what my plan is. Okay? Okay. I want this to be a bit 3D, so I'm sticking it down. And I'll show you. Look. Just in the middle of there. Popping it down at an angle in the corner. And then the S I'm going to pop on there with some of this these stick ups on it. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. These, I told you, these aren't my favourite things. If you've got the pad, you can easily cut these without it gluing up your fingers and your scissors and things like this. So we're going to okay. Okay, I'm sighing to myself because I've been very, very silly. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. A6 card would be better. There you go. Or bigger letters. So, I say, hindsight is a wonderful thing. Or clairvoyancy. So there you go. All right. So what I've done is pop them there. So they're going to take up. They take up kind of a bit more space. Don't worry. There's going to be more stuff going on in between. Okay. So pop that to one side. So the next one is the one with 2 sets of holes. Okay. And we're going to have our R on there and our I. I wonder whether I could have brought them in. Wait a minute. I'm actually just bringing my S on that lift in a bit. Yeah. Bring them away from the edge a bit. Bring them into the middle a bit. Okay, stick them like that. Okay, alright. Okay, so I brought them in a bit towards the centre. Now, I think the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to use a couple of big flowers for the R and the I. Yeah, I'll use a couple, not that one, sorry, just spot those round. You'll see why in a minute. And the I. Right, okay. So we're doing the same sort of thing, but I'm using flowers instead. Okay, and I'll show you what I've done. So you can see, just using that tacky glue. It is a really good multi-purpose. Oh, no, I don't want the glue on there, do I? No, right. So wipe it off. Put the wrong glue on. It's not a disaster. There's very few things when you're crafting actually count as a disaster, okay? As long as you don't blow your craft room up, most things are surmountable. Okay, most issues. Like letters that aren't the right size and not wanting to cut holes out of R's and P's and things like that. Most issues are something that can be worked on. If you're going to do similar to this, it's not just for fun, you're going to go and actually sell it, it's fine by me. I would advise that you organise the size of letters slightly better than I have. And make sure you really use a really good quality cardstock. Okay, this is for my own home, so I can go away with. You've got different parameters when you're working to sell. So this is the last one. To be honest, if I was doing this to sell, I'd have had to bin it by now. But it's not, it's for my home. I'm doing it because it's fun. Yes, I'm videoing it, but I am doing it because I find it fun. So I'm bobbing the leaves on again for this one. Okay. Got 2 leaves, and I'm now going to put on the N and the G. So the whole thing will say spring. Okay, so again, I need some more of these stick-ups that I love so much. Nightmare things. Nightmare. Oh, I mentioned Monday's thing. Monday's thing is about stuff that's new. So if you've found anything different, if you've got any questions, something that rude, I'm quite happy to answer questions. If you've spotted something on a website or something that you'd like someone to have a go and give their thoughts and feelings on it, although I won't use such things on my magazine, I'm quite happy to try things out here live. That's fine. It's a slightly different concept of giving, and I won't do that. I've written a few articles on angel policies and being careful that you don't pinch people's ideas. If you want to buy some back issues of Kirky Art magazine, you'll find those there. I've said quite a lot on that particular subject. Right. Okay, so it leaves it to the last one to mess about, and this isn't going. Right, I'm having. See, I told you I didn't like this stuff. Right. Told you I don't like this Yakum. I don't like it. I like the stuff with pads attached. But when you buy the stuff with pads attached from the pound shop, you also get a reel of this. So guess what? This is what I've got left because I avoid using it. So NG. Okay, we're going to tie these together in a little bit, but first I think they need a bit of decorating. All right, for which we're going to use our embellishments. So the N and the G page is significantly short of embellishments because the other's got one to cover bits up. So I'm actually going to get there's a little green. I want springy colours, you see. Now there's some beautiful yellow ones. Beautiful yellow buttons here. Loads of lovely buttons, but I do like that yellow one. That's a really lovely bright yellow one. Where's that green I had? Sunny orange one. See, this is where you can delve through all your goodies and pick out some really pretty colours. A couple of pinks, because I haven't really got, there's not much pink going on it. That's quite sunny pink. It's not a springy pink. A springy pink is definitely different to a sunny pink. It is. And you may think I'm nutty. That's a springy blue. No, it's this pale blue. I hope you're delving. I hope you're delving into your stash and finding out all sorts of goodies for this. Oh, what's that? Is that like a little flower? No, it's just very unexciting actually, that one. That's for something else. Okay, I've just spotted another nice orange one here. Okay, so I've got out a few there, so I'm going to put a few buttons on. I'm going to stick some, that'd be nice, some little ones on these letters, because I do like the decorated letters. Okay, Oop. Okay, and I think if I pop the blue one there, yeah, I like the letters with a little button on it. Kind of works. Okay, I'm going to stick the orange one on the S because it's nice. And so the only one that hasn't got one now is the eye. Does the eye need a button? I tell you what, I'll put it at the top, which is kind of weird because you think of an eye as having a something up above it, but it kind of works. There we go. That's the eye. Right. Okay. So now what I'm going to use, I'm going to pop those buttons to one side just for a minute. I will probably use them again. I love using buttons. I'm actually going to use, I think, my frog and my snail. I think my nephew would like my frog and my snail. And they're going to go near the bottom, I think. No, I'm going to put them on the top. And so that's very, very... All right, I tell you what. I'm going to bob... See, I'm muttering to myself now. It happens, you know. So I need something over there, don't I? And then he can... Right, okay. See, right, now, these have got sticky on, but I'm going to take the sticky off because that is not going to hold it substantially. It's been lurking for a bit. It'll have lost its stick. So I'm going to put tacky glue again on the back of here. And even though it's felt and a bit absorbent, this glue is awesome. It will nicely do the job. And I'm popping that snail on the bottom one over one of those misdirected marks. Okay? And the frog, he's quite cunning. I'll show you. Wait till I'm going to take his sticky off as well. I'll sweep my floor tomorrow, I promise. I'm not doing it tonight though. I'm going to go and get myself some tea when I've done this. No, I haven't eaten properly yet. I had a big late lunch instead. So... Okay, look, Froggy is sitting over the hole. So I've still got access to my hole. That's the middle one, that's that one. I'm going to put, do you remember the big butterfly? I'm going to put the big butterfly in the middle of my top one. So that'd be nice. I'm going to put him there, lots of glue there, and I'm going to put some glue kind of at the end of his wings because that will probably touch the paper. There's no point in putting glue on bits that aren't going to touch. Okay, so I'll show you this in a minute. There you go. There you are. You see? So that's there. We've got Froggy there. And now we just need some flowers. Now I particularly like with flowers when you add buttons onto them. I think it just looks really nice. I like adding buttons onto them. I've got a dark pink. Right, okay. So we've got, I'll leave that one. And sets of 3 are always really good. Okay? Sets of 3 flowers are nice. Sets of 3 and have some buttons. So I'm going to bob these here. See, there's a sort of a set of 3 going on there. So now I'm not putting glue all over the back of these flowers. I know I've used these paper flowers before. I'm not putting glue all over the back. I'm just putting a blob in the centre. Okay. If it's sticking off the side of these, that's going to be fine. It's not going to cause a problem. Okay, so I've got my set of 3 and I'm going to find little buttons to go in the middle of these because I like that effect. Okay, that might work. That might be a bit big. Yeah, the ones I got out before, the ones that are left, are going to be a bit big, I think. Little buttons are best. And white are quite pretty. What else have I got? Oh, there's a little pink one there. I might swap those round. That there. Yeah, don't stick anything down till you're definitely sorted and you know where everything's going. Okay. Oh, I've got a spotty button. I'm not using the spotty one. Oh no, I don't like that. See? That might be okay after all, actually. Right, so bob these buttons down, and I start being really careful because this is getting quite heavy, and it really does need to sit there and glue down a bit. So again, I'm putting just a blob of glue in the middle of my flowers with a button in the middle. Okay. So Froggy can go to one side. I was going to put ribbon on, wasn't I? I've got this fabulous. Do you remember we cut off this fabulous piece of ribbon? See, I could have shoved that under here somewhere, couldn't I? Or something. See, I knew I'd forgotten something. I was going to use loads of ribbon, and that would have taken up a nice. The best laid plans of mice and men. Forget things. Forget things. No. You see, and I've got this big open empty space here, and that would be really, really good. So do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to shuffle it under. Okay, I like this. I'm going to shuffle this under here. And I told you to get all your ribbons out. Basically, with your ribbons, here you go, folks. You can put your ribbons along, okay? Ribbons are great space fillers. I have some beautiful ribbons here that I could be using, and I'm not because I'm very, very silly, and I forgot. So I managed to squeeze under that offcut that we did earlier, which makes it work a bit more. Okay. I should have remembered when it all looked wrong. Anyway, silly, it's because it's late at night and I'm thinking literally on my feet. Okay, so that's there. You can have bits poking out of places. I might do, I've got this fabulous yellow ribbon. I'll just show you. And I might actually do a little bow and bob it on the side. Right, so I've got this lovely, lovely yellow ribbon here. Okay, and I'm going to make a bow. Okay. If you're really, really unsure about doing bows, you can buy a bow maker. Okay? But if you can tie a pair of shoes, you can make a bow. Alright, so you do that first. Chop it off at an angle. A bit angle. Okay. We've got a nice bow there. Okay. And I can pop that on a thing. So I'm just going to pop glue on the back of the knot. Okay, and how do I know it's the back? Because the front is all pattern. The back has some pattern and some blank bits. So using the front of the knot, now that's going to that is really going to take all night to do. Okay, so it will I'm going to pick this up to do the next part, and I put money on the fact that it's going to pop off, but I'm not worried because I will pop it back and I will leave it to dry all night and it'll be fine. Okay, but I am quite confident that any minute now when I move it, it's going to pop off. Okay, so what we need now is to tie them together. This is the fun bit. Okay, so we're going to do this. I'm actually going to use my ruler to measure. If I do, we're working in centimetres before, so we will continue. If I do 20 centimetres, that's going to be approximately right. What we're going to do is we're going to do each pick 20 centimetres. Okay. I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces at 20 centimetres long. Okay. I calculated that by connections between these two. 1, 2. Connections between the next ones, 3, 4, and 1 to hang it in your hallway or wherever. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just making sure I'm not getting ahead of myself. Right, so you've got 5 pieces there. And right, so the bottom one is NG, and we're going to thread 1 hole and just leave it there for a minute, and then we're going to put one of the threads in the next hole as well. So you've got 2 holes threaded up and not attached to anything for a minute. Okay, and straight above it you're going to have the middle one, which is RI. Okay, and you're going to pop the coordinating strings through, and again just leave them for a minute. Okay, okay, now this is where you test your knotting skills, but it's really not that complicated. The knot you need is a reef knot. Okay, and all you have with a reef knot is left over right, right over left, or right left, left over right, doesn't matter which way round. Left over right, right over left. Okay, if you can remember that, you're set, and I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, that piece of thread got a bit grotty, but do not panic. Oh, that one's come out. Don't panic, because you can chop off, you can work it out to the end. Okay, oh, I've just mucked the end of that one up as well, so there you go. We're going to be chopping a bit off. So you make sure that your piece of card are at a space that you quite like. I've got approximately 1 inch. Okay, all right, and you take your first piece and you keep it at 1 inch, and you go, do you remember, left over right, just hold it flat, right over left, bring it back, under, and pull tight. Okay, and I'll show you these in a minute. So do it again with the next one. Left over right, but not too much, gently. You want to keep those nice and even if you can. Right over left. It's basically the one you've just done, you take back again. I don't let go, and then I know where I'm up to. Okay, and they're attached, and they're reasonably, no, they're not even reasonably even, they're not. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to undo this one, make it a little tighter, and do that again. That's better. That's better. Okay, I'm just going to snip off the excess. Don't snip too close to the knots. Leave it about 1 centimetre. Okay, leave there about 1 centimetre there. Okay, right, fine. Okay, this reminds me of projects I do with brownies and guides, which is one of the many things I have done in my time. Right, okay, so the next one, which gets a bit awkward because you've got an extra bit in the way here, but again, you line them up near each other, and you put your thread through the associated holes. Okay, that's that one. No, I need all of that thread through there, please. Thank you. And then the second one. Oh, yeah. Do you know what? It's that ribbon playing. I knew that ribbon would be a problem. I did say, didn't I? But it's not. It's not down desperate. To be honest, things like that that's just not going to hold straight away, you might be better putting on once you've done this. Okay. So again, try and line it up. Have it approximately the same if you can as the previous one. Okay. If you're trying to measure it, my experience says you're just going to drive effect. And you're going to drive yourself absolutely around the bend. So you're left over right, right over left. Come on. Bob there. right, over left. And I realise you didn't see that. I apologise, that was just off camera. So we're going to have left, over right, and under, and gently pull it. Try and make sure you're going to be about the same distance. Oh. Right, over left, and under, and gently pull that. Check it's all working. No, this time the left hand side needs tightening a little bit. It's always the last one I do. Just needs tiny tighten there. And so basically what I've done there is I undid the knot ever so slightly. That's wonky that side. Now there goes that ribbon. I undo the right rib, the string ever so slightly, and just give myself either a little bit more or a little bit less, and then hang it and have a look. No. Okay, this one, you see, this is why if you were measuring it, you really would drive yourself absolutely round the bend. Okay, there we go. It would be how to totally get rid of your sanity. I'm going to chop these again. Give yourself about a centimetre. About a centimetre. Okay, and your last piece of thread, quite simple. You're going to hold the ends together. You're going to do a really basic knot. Close to the cut end. Okay. You're going to pop the non-knotted end through, I like it this way, I have to say, through your top hole. Okay, and then you can which way around? Do it that way. You can just overlap them. Okay, I'm not sure you can see that. Let's see if I can do that so you can see it. Turn everything around and try and be really careful because obviously things are still drying. So we pop that through there like that, and you're just going to pop that over there. Okay, it's not a tricky knot, that one. And to be honest, once you've got in your head the basics of a reef knot, that's not overly tricky either. For anything me as a young teenager trying to do reef knots, I maintain that doing them under pressure for camp badges and the like is tricky. Okay, so there you have it. I'm just going to hold my bow on now. That, okay, we'll go my whole way, and it says spring. Okay, it would be better with bigger letters. Like I say, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and if you remember to put your ribbon on, like a long and pretty ribbon and stuff, which obviously I failed miserably to do, but there you go. So go on, if you haven't already done it, you've just been watching and doing it at a late time, send me, I'm going to move this so you can see me, right, send me your pictures of, I'd love to see them. Have a fabulous night.